My name is Aretha Lewinsky, and I'm the Group Product Manager for the Managed Stage. And I have with me.
Hi, I'm Melissa Ushakov, and I'm the Senior Product Manager for the Access Group.
Yeah, and really exciting news is that Melissa's promoted and moving over to her Group Manager role. And we're going to be looking for someone to fill her enormous sized shoes. And we kind of wanted to give a little bit of a background of what we're looking for in this position and what it entails. So the position is remote based, just like any other position at GitLab. And we're looking for a senior product manager that can help us work on the future of developer tools. Specifically, what we're looking for is someone who is going to build out our lovable support for GitLab by driving strategy to help organizations prosper with access and authentication functionality that enables them to work more efficiently. So that was like a really high level of what we're looking for. Let's deep dive in and talk about the different groups that we have on the team, Melissa.
I'm the PM for the group, like I mentioned, and it's a really interesting problem space because there's really three categories that we look after: users, subgroups, and auth. And each of them is actually a pretty rich space with a lot of opportunity. So that would be the first thing that I really enjoyed about this role, is that there's no lack of customer engagement and customer requests, right? There's always going to be something interesting to work on that someone is really, really interested. You don't really need to worry about releasing a feature and, no one's using it, you get no feedback. There's always feedback. There's always interesting customer conversations. So that's something that I've really enjoyed. Like for reference, I probably jump on 2 or 3 customer calls a week of either people having questions or wanting to talk about specific direction. So that's something that I've really enjoyed. The other thing that's really interesting is that because these are foundational elements to how GitLab works, you get to learn about everything and everyone and how everything is connected and how everything works, right? So that's something that's been really nice. I think over the last year that I've been in this role, I've learned way more than I would have if I had been on a specific feature, right? Because I've had to interact with the plan teams, the release stages, other people in manage, right? I've worked with a lot of different PMs on a lot of different things. So that's been really, really great. The other interesting thing is that, like I mentioned, we work on auth, users, and subgroups. So something interesting about subgroups is that today they're a foundational part of the data model in GitLab. And they are the foundation of how we provision SaaS to our customers. So there's a lot of features and functionality that are very intrinsically tied to the strategy of the company about being SaaS first. So you really get to have a front seat into how we deliver products to our customers in the SaaS environment, which is an up and coming area and heavy focus of our strategy. So that's not exactly what you would first think of when you think of access, right? Because you probably will think of auth. But subgroups are actually where I've been spending a lot of my time, specifically around SaaS and making sure that we're providing a great experience for enterprise customers. One other thing that is really interesting that I've liked about the job is that it is a fully remote team, fully distributed. We're spread across, I believe it's like 6 different time zones. So we've really had to lean into the async working model, and I've really enjoyed it. I feel like I've grown a lot as a PM by doing that, because it's forced me to be really great at written communication. It's forced me to record videos and be less kind of like self-conscious about it. And it's given me something really interesting to go talk about with the world. I've actually done a talk about being a remote PM for a group of PMs here in Austin. So it really gives you nice marketable skills and has helped me grow as a PM. So that's sort of in a nutshell what I've liked and what's been good about the role. I don't know, Orit, if you want to deep dive into anything.
Yeah, so maybe can you tell us a little bit about what were like the most interesting / important / heavy features that kind of touch on the different areas of the different categories?
Yeah, so for auth, something that we've been working on a lot has been SAML and improvements to our SAML offering. We see that a great majority of paying customers want to integrate with an external identity system, and SAML is the preferred way of doing it. So we've been one, streamlining it to make it easier to use, and two, enforcing it across all dimensions. So not just the web UI, but we recently released something to enforce it in the CLI, and then our roadmap is enforcing it in the API. And really tying that experience so that a customer can truly say, my IDP is the source of truth for my users, right? And GitLab is enforcing it. So that's been sort of on the auth space where we've been. For subgroups, like I said, we've been working heavily on really creating that nice level of abstraction for SaaS customers at the subgroup level. So we've been working on features to basically prevent people from leaving a group in their day-to-day workflows. So things like preventing forks outside of that top level namespace, and features of that sort, right, where we're just like closing in workflows to the scope of a group so that people don't accidentally leave. And then the other thing that we've been working on is just giving group administrators more capabilities to administer their users. That's been something that's been huge and a big customer ask. There's an epic that I can link in this. I'll put some links to some epics in this video. But the biggest one has been creating this concept of an enterprise user, which is a user that's been created by a group and is now owned by a group. We actually worked with legal to make changes to our terms to accommodate this, and we're going to be building more and more of that user admin experience that only exists at the instance level at the group level. And that's one that customers are really excited about. And as we release this, we've seen great adoption, great feedback. So it's something that has a lot of momentum around it.
Cool. So it sounds like this is a truly high visible area, lots of customer demands / requests and interests, a lot of opportunity to work with other stages and other groups. Can you tell us a little bit about community contributions in this area?
Yeah, so actually that's been, typically it's been, I would say, a little bit slower because, you know, auth is very complicated. It's at the core of all of GitLab and how GitLab works. But we've seen a really, I would say like an uptick in contributions, specifically from our partners or Siemens. They've got a team of engineers that's making contributions across all of GitLab, but they've been specifically working a lot on different auth features, small enhancements, but they actually, if you go back to one of the release posts, admin mode was something that was contributed entirely by them. And it's a huge feature, right? So they're invested and they've been great partners, really open to feedback, and it's been a really great relationship with them.
Awesome. Great. So we encourage you all to apply for this position if you find it interesting, especially if you have some knowledge around this authorization access space. We mentioned SAMLs, but there's also SCIM, also others. If you're really passionate about this space, we encourage you to apply. And if you know someone, we have a great referral program, so go ahead and refer your buddies.
Yeah, and I also want to say, even if you don't know that much about the identity space, but you have experience in things like integrating systems or kind of building systems that are consumed internally, I would still encourage you to apply. I didn't specifically know about identity. I've learned all of it on the job, but I did have experience with building platform systems and integrating systems together, passing data back and forth. So I use that sort of to help me have a foundation here, and I've learned everything that I know about identity on the job. So yeah, it's a really high impact role, and it's a great team. The engineering team is great. Like, everyone's a fantastic person to work with. So encourage you to apply.
Thanks, Melissa.